Alright guys, what is going on? How are you doing, superstars? Welcome to the introductory part of this course. Now we're going to be developing a result checking application with PHP in this particular course. Now I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for checking out this course, and just give me a few minutes of your time. Let me walk you through some of the things we're going to be doing in this particular tutorial. Now for for the rest of this course, I'm going to be your instructor. My name is Okere Gospel Kelsey, and I'm a web and digital marketing consultant that is based in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, over the years, I have taught over 4,000 students how to code, and I've been doing this both online and offline, online through webinars, and of course, offline attending seminars and trainings. Alright, now I've also worked with an incredible team of developers across the globe, from different walks of life, Africa, within my country, and several other parts of the world. I've worked with teams developing awesome applications. So now in the next slide, I'm going to show you what we're going to be developing. We're going to be developing a simple application that can be deployed, to different aspects actually. Now let's actually go to the next slide. Now what are we going to be building in this particular course? Now we're going to be developing an online student result checking web application with PHP. And the features of this application, number one, is we're going to be developing an intuitive student and admin dashboard. So both students and admin are going to have their own dashboard. Now when the student logs in and find themselves in the dashboard, they will be able to check their results. Students will be able to check their results and contact the school admin for any issues they are having and all of that. So basically the student section or dashboard handles the checking of their results and other information that are important for them. Now the next thing is we're going to be limiting the use of serial number to one student. So this application also allows you to limit the use of a serial number to one student. Now this is very, very important because in an application like this, we do not want a student to purchase a pin from the school and at the end of the day share the pin with other students. So he or she uses the pin and maybe friends as well are able to use the same pin to access their own terminal report. We do not want that, so we are limiting the use of pin to one student. Once a student purchases a pin and uses the pin for the first time, that pin gets tied or gets keyed into the system for that particular student, and if another student tries to use the same pin, an error will be raised. That is that. Number 3 is we're going to be setting an expiration date to the serial number. So you can decide to maybe make it a 1 month expiration. You can decide to expire the pin at the end of every term, thereby making it possible or allowing students to always buy a pin at the end of each term to check their terminal report for that particular term. So I'm going to be showing you how you can do this the easy way. It's very simple, and I promise you I'm going to show you that. Now the next thing is we're going to limit the pin to a number of usage. Now this is not compulsory, but if it depends on you, it's all user specific. Now if you want to limit the pin to the student for a particular number of usage, say 5 times, 3 times, 10 times, as the case may be. So whenever a student purchases the pin and starts using the pin, once a student uses the pin for the first time, it starts counting. You log out and log in again, it gets incremented. Now by the time the student reaches the particular number that has been set in the system, the student will no longer be allowed to use that particular pin again and will be forced to purchase a new pin from the school to check his or her result. Now that is that. Now the last but not the least, admin will be the one to generate all the pins that will be used by the students. The admin will be doing that from his or her dashboard. So once admin generates the pin, admin will be able to print out the pins, and of course students should be able to purchase the pin from the school via the admin. Okay, so this is not all the features that this particular application has. These are just some of the basic features, okay, that we are implementing the application. Now by the time you enroll for this course and will proceed, you're going to see more features that are also available in the course. Okay, so in the next slide we're going to be talking about what you will learn. Okay, what are some of the things you're going to learn after taking this particular course? Okay, now the first thing you're going to learn is, one, you're going to be touching the basic to advanced concepts in the language of PHP. Okay, PHP is a very popular language, okay, for building dynamic web applications. So I'm going to be taking you okay by the hand, walking you through most of the basic things, okay, and down to the advanced concepts in this particular language. Okay, so if you're taking this course, you should rest assured that you're going to learn a lot from this particular course before we get to the end of this course. Okay, now the next thing is you're going to build a responsive in the sense that your application will look nice on every device. Okay, be it a laptop, be it a mobile device, a tablet, and all of that. Okay, so you're going to be building a responsive web application with PHP and the world most popular HTML or CSS framework, which is Bootstrap. Then Ajax, we are also going to be writing our native CSS by ourselves, and of course use HTML to put all the layout together, the markup. Okay, now the next one is you're going to learn how to query MySQL database like a pro. Okay, I'm going to be learning how to join tables, okay, query MySQL database, and retrieve data, update data. In fact, you're going to be performing all of the crude process in MySQL. Okay, the create, the read, the update, and the delete. So you're going to learn all of these particular things in this particular course. Okay, and also you're going to learn how to talk to server script in real time using Ajax. You're going to be using Ajax to retrieve data from the database without page reload, obviously. Okay, we're going to use Ajax for our search application. We're going to use Ajax for our model, where we're going to be editing student information. Okay, so we are going to be using all of these things, okay, in the tutorial. So join me, and of course you are going to learn how to implement these particular features the easy way. Okay, now we're going to also make your application look beautiful on all devices, and that will be achieved using Bootstrap 4, because Bootstrap is designed to look responsive on every device. Okay, now we are going to be designing your markup and style application with HTML and CSS and other things also that you're going to be learning, which I might not be able to cover in this introductory video. Okay, so the next slide we look at the course structure. Okay, look at the course structure. Now the course is designed in sections. Okay, now every section contains lectures that is in form of video lectures. Okay, and these video lectures will be looking at each of the sections in details. All right, so whenever we pick a section, we are going to add lectures in video format that will describe and tell you everything that is actually contained in that particular section. Okay, now who is this particular course designed for? Who is this course designed for? Now this particular course, we are not targeting any particular level of PHP developers. Alright, we're not targeting just beginners or intermediate, advanced. Now, as a matter of fact, this course is designed for every level of PHP developers. Okay, be you a beginner, be you an intermediate, or even an advanced PHP developer, you can take this course. As this course, at every point in time in the section or in the outline, you are going to find something relevant to you that will be useful in your production or in your development process. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you some screenshots for the different section of the application. Okay, now the first I'm going to show you is the student login page. Okay, now this is how the student login page is going to look like. The students are going to be logging into the system with their username and their password. And their registration number in this case. Okay, then they accept the academic terms and conditions, and of course click the button that says submit and continue. All right, now we also have some validations in check here in case a student decides to log in without entering a username or enters the wrong username and all of that. So we are checking to make sure that we are giving the right data by the student before they can access their dashboard. Alright, this is very, very important. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can implement that very easily. Then after the student logs in successfully, the next you're going to present them with is, of course, their dashboard. Okay, now this is a dashboard for a typical student in the system. Now once a student is in his or her dashboard, that particular student will be able to check his or her results by completing the short form on the left. Okay, now the first information we are requiring from the student is the class serial number. Okay, once the student enters the class serial number, he or she has to enter the generated pin, of course, which is the 5141. That's the example of the pin below. Okay, and obviously select examination year, and the last thing there is the examination term. So once the student selects that and click on check result, we're going to fetch the student result on the next page, provided that the result has been uploaded by the admin. Okay, so the next screenshot I will show you will be the admin login page. So here admin has to enter username and password and click on login to continue. Okay, then the last but not the least will be the admin dashboard. So this is the admin dashboard of the application. Now the admin dashboard has about two sections here. The first is where admin has to use in uploading student results. Okay, there we have the student class, and we are fetching the student class by ages in real time. Once you select a class, automatically the name of the student loads without page refresh. I'm going to show you how to implement that in the application using Ajax. Okay, then once the student's name is selected, the next thing here is examination year and of course examination term, and the admin selects a PDF file containing the result of the student before uploading. Now if you look at the right hand side, we have the four links there, which is menu, the menu section there. The first is the dashboard, the next is the view pin request, and the view uploaded results, the view all students, and of course generate pins, where the admin can use to generate pin for the system. Now after this introductory video, I think the two more videos in the previous section will show you, will give you a complete tour of the student section and the admin section. So I encourage you to watch that video as well, so that you can see the complete tour of the student section and the admin section. Alright, so guys, I really appreciate your time, and I want to thank you for checking this course out. Okay, now I can assure you that you're going to learn a whole lot of things in this particular course, and at the end of this course you should be able to take the skills you learned from this course and build even more beautiful and awesome applications using PHP. So I thank you guys, and of course I want to take this course and work for this course, and together we're going to build something awesome. So I'm going to see you in the course, and I am again Kelsey, web and digital marketing consultant. I'll see you in the course, and thank you very much for checking out this particular course. Alright, welcome back to the course. So in this particular tutorial, I'm going to be showing you the overview of the application. But we're going to start first of all with looking at how the student section looks like. Okay, then after that, the next video will be on the tour of the admin section. So let's really jump right into the student section. So this is how the student section looks like. But first of all, I'm going to log out from here so that you can see the login screen we're going to be coming in from. So this is the login screen. So once you come here, you're going to see this particular heading here that says welcome to KES Web Solutions Academy Result Checking Portal. Now please log in with your username and registration number to continue. So here the user has to enter the username and of course the registration number, and we're going to have to accept this particular condition here before continuing. Right now, in the event that the user refuses to enter the username, let's say we try to submit this form without filling this particular information, we have some validations here in check. So first it's going to tell you that username is required, and let's say you try to enter the wrong username, for example, and maybe you click this. Let's say we enter just any random password, even if it's the correct password, and we try to submit. It tells us username does not exist. So I'm going to enter the right username right now, and but first if I'm going to enter the wrong password, I will enter the wrong registration number. Okay, so and I'm going to try to submit. So now it first of all tells me to accept school terms and conditions. Then I'm going to accept this and submit. Then I have this message that says please double check your details. Okay, so now what happens if I enter the right reg number here? Then I click on submit, and definitely I'm going to be logged in. But let me point out something here. Now if you check here, whenever you enter a particular information, it gets saved in the text box. You don't have to re-enter the information again. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. It's also very easy. And one more thing I want to point out here is, if you refresh this page, you see the form does not get submitted again. So in most cases, by the time you try filling up a form and refresh the page, form will want to submit a second time. So I will also show you how you can prevent that from happening in the course. Now let's quickly enter this again, and of course enter the right username and the right reg number. I'm going to click on I agree to terms, academic terms and conditions, and submit and continue. Oh, I think I entered the wrong username again. Password is still saved if you noticed. So I agree, submit and continue. Okay, here we are at the dashboard section. Now this is the student dashboard. From here the student can check his or her result. Now we have some information here on this place note section. It says you have to purchase a scratch card from the school to check your results, and you are allowed to use scratch card as many times as possible, and also scratch card expires at the end of each term. Now coming to this particular level, you can decide to limit the number of use for the scratch card, okay, for the card serial number. Now you can say I don't want a student to use this more than 5 times. In fact, I'm going to show you how that is done later on in the tutorial, because this tutorial is going to be getting, this course is going to be getting so many updates. Okay, we're going to be adding so many features that are not here currently. So I implore you to take this course, because you're going to be learning a lot of things in the course of this particular tutorial. So also scratch card expires at the end of each term. We are adding an expiration date to the system. So once a user starts using the card, the expiration date starts counting until the end of the term. The card gets expired. Alright, so now also I have a welcome message here that says welcome Obago David. So welcome the user. Now here we have please complete the form below to check your result. So the student has to enter a card serial number, and of course enter the generated pin, which is this pin below, and select the examination year and the examination term, and of course proceed to clicking on check result. So also we have some awesome validation here to check for what the student enters into this particular sections for us. So if, let's say for example, a student decides to enter a wrong pin, maybe a pin that does not actually exist, okay, now I want to enter any random pin that doesn't actually exist, maybe something like this, okay, and you probably maybe enter this particular number here, 17306, select the examination year and the term, and you try to check results. So you get a message here, an error message that says invalid card serial number. Okay, now another thing I want to point out here is, if a student also tries to use another student card serial number, like this actually belongs to another student in the system, so you try to use it to check your own. Now that also is going to throw an error. As you can see, it tells you an error occurred while checking your results. It's either you are using a wrong pin, your pin has expired, or the pin doesn't belong to you. So please contact the school admin for assistance. So this is very important in an application like this. So we try to prevent another student from using another student's pin. So once you purchase a pin from the school and you enter it, immediately you enter it, that pin gets queued to you and you alone. No other person is allowed to use that particular pin. Okay, so now I'm going to just put the pin that belongs to this particular student, which is this particular one. And once I do this, then I'm going to select the year again, then the examination term, which is first term, and I'm going to click on check results. And as you can see, we are fetching the results of this particular user. It has no results for this particular term uploaded. So we have a message that says no result found for user Obago David. Please check back later. So let's actually view a student that has a result uploaded. Now I'm going to log out from this particular student account. As you can see, we have also the logout functionality here, so a student can log out successfully. And also we have a button, a link here that says contact. So this actually links to our WhatsApp page. You can put anything here, you can put your email here or whatever you want to put here. Okay, so I'm going to log out of this particular student account and log into another student whose result has been uploaded. So I'm going to come back here, and this time around I'll enter the student information and I'll agree and submit and continue. So this is Alfred Okeke. Now Alfred has a result uploaded, so I'm going to enter his serial number here. I'm going to copy and paste that. Then I will enter his generated pin, which is below 94922. Then select the year 2019, and of course the term is first term. Then I'm going to click on check result. For some reason this is not working. Probably this belongs to another student. Okay, let me quickly go to database and see what we have here. This is 955. What's going on? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's look at this, and that this particular name account was renamed. This is another student account that was renamed to this particular person. So if you come to pins here, I'm going to explain how the database is actually structured in the tutorial. Now if you come to pins here, you will see that this particular pin, that is in 9, let's go back to that place, 955, where is it? 955 actually exists for another student, one for Mercy. Okay, so what I'm going to do here particularly is to rename this particular name. You're not going to be doing this. Okay, I'm just renaming the particular student. That's why this is happening, but we are not going to be doing this, I can assure you. So I'm going to quickly change this back to Alfred Okeke. Okay, let's see. Okay, so hopefully this should work. Yeah, this is working now. Okay, so now as you can see, this particular student has a result. Okay, so now once this result is fetched, you have this action button displaying this. So it shows the name, the user ID of the students in the students table, the name, the examination year, and of course the term. Now under action we have download and we have view. So the student can easily view their results if they are on PC, but mind you, on mobile this particular button will also download the result as well. It will function as this. So I'm going to click on view, and this should open the student results on a new tab. So as you can see, this is a sample of the result. Okay, for for the student. Now you can prepare your results anywhere you want to prepare it, but then upload it to this platform for the student to check online. Okay, so that is that. Now back to review terminal results. Also on this section, alright, so we also have the download section. So if you click on this is going to download. Okay, so let's try that. So we click on this, we download only the PDF of the particular result of the student. Okay, so this you can open either with your PDF view on your system, or you can open it on the browser as well. Now okay, so now you also have a button here that can take you back to the student dashboard. But before I do that, I want to point out something to you. Now if you hover over this particular section, you notice that the link below, if you look below the browser, you find that the link is showing localhost result checker images results. Okay, then the name of the particular student report. Now a user might want to navigate to this particular section, because obviously this is where we are keeping, this particular directory is where we are loading every student result. Okay, so a user might want to particularly navigate to that particular directory on your system and want to view every student report without having to purchase pin from the school. So we actually prevented that. Okay, we prevented that from happening, because I know most of us might want to deploy this application to a live server. So you don't want to develop a system that will be vulnerable, that people can easily look for a way to go around it and manipulate the system. So if a person tries to actually come to that particular location, which is images and results, okay, now we prevent this from happening. We redirect them back to the dashboard. Are you getting me? So we take them back to the dashboard. So we prevent them from actually viewing the entire result of the students. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Okay, so that you force them to purchase a pin from the school. They must check the result with a pin. Nobody can manipulate the system and all of that. So this is how the student section of this application looks like. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how the admin section looks like. Okay, so thank you for taking this course, and I will see you in the Okay guys, welcome back to the course. So in this video we are going to be looking at the admin section and overview of the admin section. Alright, so we are on the student section. So what we're going to do here is to navigate to the admin section. So I'm going to go to localhost results checker, and of course I'm going to type admin. Okay, so I'm going to type admin, and this is the admin's login screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to quickly enter my admin password to login. So username is admin, and of course the password, you can enter the password. Okay, so I'm going to click on login. I'm going to click on login. I'm going to click on login. So give it some time to load and log us in. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the admin dashboard. So on the left hand side of the admin dashboard, we have a form, a simple form here that the admin can use to upload the student results. Okay, now the first information we have here for the student is the student's class. Okay, so here the admin has to select the student class, followed by the student name, the examination year, the examination term, and of course have to also choose a PDF file of the particular student result. Okay, so now I want to show you something here. If I go ahead and click on the select class, input select tag, let's say I select the first class that says year 7. Okay, now you see that automatically the student name loads from the database. Okay, now if I click here, I'm going to see the student name that corresponds to this particular class, which is year 7 in this case. So these are the names that correspond to the class of year 7. Okay, now if I go back and click another class, like select another class like year 8, also I tend to get the names of students loaded automatically. Okay, now we are achieving this with the Ajax. Okay, so in the course I will be showing you how you can implement this easily with the use of Ajax. Now if you select a class that does not have a student, like for example in this case year 11 does not have students uploaded yet, so I go ahead and click on year 11, you see I get an error message that says names not found. Okay, names not found. All right, so now also another thing I want to point out here is that we also have another kind of check that we added uh, in the input tag of the HTML form. For that is the file input tag, where the admin has to select the file PDF file of the user. So we here are only allowing the admin to select PDF file. Okay, the admin cannot select any other file that is not a PDF file in this particular section here. So before we come back to uploading the results, I want to quickly jump to the menu section of the admin dashboard. So let's see some of the things that the menu section can do. Now first of all, the first menu here is the dashboard. Okay, so this menu here, if you click on it, it takes you back to the dashboard. Okay, now the next one below it is view pin request. The view pin request link. Now this particular link contains all the pins that the students may have requested to check their result. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this link for us to see what we have there. Okay, so we are on the view pin request page. Okay, now as you can see on the URL we have view-pins.php. Okay, now first of all we are fetching all the pins from the database that the students have requested from the school. Now we have the student number ranging from 1 to the last person in the system that has requested for a pin, and in this case is 22. Now if I go scroll back up again, now I'm having the pin. So in this particular header here we have the pin, we have the date issued, we have the expiry date, we have the use by. Now remember we are setting this pin to expire at the end of the term from the day that the user started using it. So every user, every student, once you purchase the pin for a particular term, let's say first, second or third term in the school, you are allowed to use that pin throughout the term. Once that particular term expires, that pin once the particular term is over, the pin expires automatically and will no longer be usable. So we have the date issued again, the expiration date, and the use by here tells us the name of the particular student who is actually using the pin in the system. Okay, so that is that for the use view pins page of the admin section. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and let's see the next page that we have in the dashboard. The next one here is view uploaded results. Okay, now this is the page where the admin gets to view all the results that has been uploaded for the students. Okay, now I'm going to click on it and see what we have there. So view uploaded result. Now first of all, here we have 3 result that has been uploaded for a student. Okay, now the first one here we have the serial number as usual that tells us the number that we have uploaded. Now the class ID here will tell you the class of the particular student that the result has been uploaded for. Now in this case we have uploaded result for year 7, another student in year 7, and of course a student in year 10. Now the student name appears on this section. We have Akasin Divine Favor, we have Alfredo Keke, we have Omega Esther. Now the exam year here, as you can see, is 2019 for the 3 of them, and the exam term of course is first term. Now on the action section or the action tab, you can see we have 3 different things that the user the admin can do here. The first is delete, the second is view, and of course the last is download. Okay, so now the delete button, once clicked by the admin, will delete the particular student results from the database. Okay, now the view will view the result of the students, and of course the download button downloads the result to the system. Okay, now I need to also point out something before I click on these buttons, that if you are on a mobile device, the view button and the download button tends to do the same thing, and that's because most mobile phones in general does not have or do not have a PDF viewer enabled available in the browser. Okay, so the view and the download button will do the same thing. In fact, they will both download the result in a mobile device. Okay, now I'm going to first of all go to I'm going to click on view for this particular student, Alfredo KK. I'm going to click on view to view the result. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on view. Now, if you notice, when I click on view, the result opened in a new tab. Okay, now this is the result of the student. So we have decided to design our own like this. Now you can decide to design your own in any way. Okay, any format you feel like, you can do that for your own school and upload it for the particular student. Okay, so that is that view result. I'm going to go back here again. Now I'm going to click on download this time around, and if I click on download, this result is going to get downloaded to our system. Okay, so I'm going to click on download now. Now, as you can see, after clicking on download, you can see the student result has been downloaded in PDF format. Okay, so I can click on this to open the PDF file, and as you can see, it's opened here. Okay, now another thing I will point out is you can also delete a particular student result. Okay, so if I go ahead and click on delete for this particular student, in divine favor, I get the message that says result deleted successfully. And if I click on OK, I will be redirected back to the result page. As you can see here, we have only two results remaining, which is Alfred and Omega. Okay, now I'm going to go back very quickly. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to take all of this away here. Okay, and of course I'm going to click to go back to the admin dashboard again. So the next we're going to see here is view all students. The view all student link. So when I click on view all students, I have a page that loads with all the student information that we have in the database. Okay, now let me start from the beginning, from the top. Now on the top we have a search students input tag here. Now, although we have not actually coded the functionality for this particular search search input element, now I need to also point out that we're going to be using edges. Okay, now this search button is not going to be there by the time this particular functionality has been added. So we're going to be using edges. Once we start typing the name of the student, automatically we'll be displaying the student results on the table here for you to see. Okay, so follow me in this course. Okay, take this course, and of course I'm going to be showing you how this functionality can be added in the tutorial. Okay, now here we have the student number of the students. That is the numbers of the student loaded from the database 1 to here we have 4 to the last number we have. And also, as you can see, we are having a pagination here. We are not loading all the students in the database at once. We have almost a 150 number of students in the database, but as you can see, we are limiting it here to 10, okay, per page. So we are not loading all the students at once. Okay, and we are doing that with the help of the limit the functionality or my SQL database. And also we have pagination in check here. As you can see, we have pagination here, and total number of pages here is 1 to 15. Okay, so and also you can see here as well, we have a message that says you are on page 1 of 15. So whenever you click on any page, we update the current page you are in at this particular section of the page. So you are on rather at this section of the page, so that you can know the section the page that you are currently on at every point in time. Now if I go ahead and click on page 7 or 8 here, you're going to see that the page will updated that you are on page 8 or 15, which is the total number of pages that we have. So I'm going to show you how you can also add pagination easily in the course. Now here we have the name of the student, the sex of the student, the class of the student, the registration number, username, the PIN number, and the card serial number, of course. Now also on the action section we have edit and we have delete. Now right now the edit button is not doing anything at this moment, and we're going to be adding the functionality in the course also. Now if I click on edit for this particular student, now I tend to load a bootstrap form. Okay, so I load a bootstrap modal. Okay, a bootstrap modal. You can see we are editing Alfredo Keke's information. We have the name, we have the sex of the student, we have the class, and we have the username. So if you click on update details, this is going to update the student information, but we have not yet added this particular update details functionality. So I know you might be seeing this for the first time, editing information on bootstrap modal without having to go to a new page to do that. So I want to follow me, and of course in this course I'm going to show you how you can implement this particular functionality easily. Now if I go ahead and click on a new student, like another student like this particular one here, I also get you are editing Okwo HBK's Adeyemi's information. Okay, so the bootstrap modal is speaking each of the students as we click on edit, their edit button individually. So I'll show you how this can be added. Okay, now also if you click on the delete button here, okay, this item also gets deleted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and of course click on delete for a particular student. Let's click on this one. So I do this, see the student data was deleted successfully, and if I click on OK, we should be redirected back to the student table, and if you check, that particular student has been deleted, is no longer here any longer. Okay, now that is that. So I'm going to go back again to the admin dashboard, and let's see the next page that we have. Alright, so the next page here is the generate pins page. You're going to click on it very quickly, and as you can see here, we have a small form here that says, has a heading of generate pin, and of course a placeholder here that says enter number of pins to generate. Okay, and the maximum number you can generate at a go we have here is 100. Alright, before we generate pin, I want to scroll down and show you some of the pins we generated earlier. Now if you scroll down, you see all the pins we generated with the serial number, the pin, and the status. Okay, now if you check, you see that some of the pin have a status of closed and others have a status of open. Okay, now the ones that have a status of open are the pins that the user have not yet used. Okay, that no student has used. The pin is not allocated to any student at all in the system at the moment. Okay, now any pin that the students have purchased from the school and have used it for the first time, once you purchase a pin and you use it for the first time on your account, automatically the status of the pin becomes closed. Okay, changes to closed, and that pin is tied only to that particular student, and no other students in the system will be able to use that particular pin. Okay, so that is that. Now I'm going to go ahead and generate pins, but before we do that, I'm going to show you that we have some validation in check for the generate pin page. Now if I click on generate pin without entering any value here, I'm going to get an error that says please enter the number of pins to generate. Okay, now if I try to generate, maybe enter 0 as well, you can see 0 is not recognized. You see that. Now I'll also get the same message that says please enter the number of pins to generate. Okay, now if I also try to enter a number above the required number, which is 100, like for example I enter 101 and I click on generate pin, I'll also get an error that says number must be between 1 and 100. Alright, so now let me scroll down again so you can see that we have about 48 pins here. I'm going to enter like 6 to generate, so 6, and let's see what goes on. Now 6, and I'll click on generate pin, and of course you see pin generated successfully. And after the page reloads, our number of pins should increase from 48 to around 54. That shows that the pins of the truth were generated successfully. Okay, so this is where admin can generate as many number of pins as possible for the students in the school. Okay, so let's really go back to the dashboard again, and let's try uploading the student result this time around. So I'm going to click on a student class again. Okay, let's upload result for probably students in year 9. Now once the class is selected, it just again loads the student's name automatically without page refresh. So I'm going to scroll down, and of course I'm going to probably select maybe this Chuku Emeka, and I'm going to select the examination year 2019. I will select the term, which is first term, and I will choose the student result. Okay, I will click on choose file, select the result for that particular student. So clicking on choose file opens up my system. Okay, then I have to navigate to where I can select the student result. So here I'm just going to select any random PDF file here. It doesn't really have to be an actual result. Okay, just to demonstrate to you how you can upload a result for a student. So I'm going to just go to this. Let me go to my document folder, and I'm going to just select scheme of work. Okay, just for demonstration purpose. Okay, I'll select that scheme of work there, and I'm going to click on upload results. Okay, so upload results, and we wait. Now as you can see, we get a status message that says result uploaded successfully. Okay, now to verify that, we're going to go to view uploaded result page a second time. Let's go back there, and of course we can see the result was uploaded. Year 9, Chuku Emeka, and 2019 the year, and the term is first term. Okay, now go back again to the admin dashboard. Now I want to point out something else to you again. One very important validation that we also added to this application. Now, we don't want an admin to upload the same result, multiple times for a particular user. Okay, like for example, you uploaded first term, and probably the admin forgot that he or she has uploaded the first term result or second term result and the same year for that particular student, and go ahead and upload it again. So we're adding a very important check there that will prevent an admin to upload results multiple times for the particular student. So let's try uploading this student result again. I'm just going to right click and open this in a new tab. Okay, so let's say we want to upload this Chuku Emeka result again, and let's see what happens. So again, we're going to select class, which is year 9, and the student name, don't forget, is Chuku Emeka. Okay, Chuku Emeka. So I'm going to select 2019 again as a year, and also first term as a term, and let's select a file again. It can be any file at all, and click on upload result. So when this happens, we get an error. Result has already been uploaded for first term 2019. Okay, now if you click on view uploaded result, you should see that that result was never uploaded a second time. So this is a very important check for an application like this. Okay, now we're going to go back again to the admin dashboard, and of course this is the complete tour of the admin dashboard. Okay, so I want to urge you to take this particular course. Okay, join me in this course, and I promise you you're going to learn a whole lot of things. And this application can also be deployed to online, okay, for any type of school, whether primary school, secondary school, even tertiary institutions can use this particular application. So thank you once again for watching, and of course I will see you in the course. Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the continuation of the tutorial. Now in this particular tutorial, we're going to be talking about our folder structure and gathering some of the resources we're going to need to start developing. So I've already created a folder that we're going to be using for this particular course. So I will head on to my local disk and XAMPP. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm using XAMPP. XAMPP is available for both Windows, Linux, and Mac, but you can decide to use WAMP. WAMP is I think for Windows users, and MAMP is available for Mac users only. So for you to continue with this tutorial, of course you need to have a kind of a server running, and I'm using Apache with XAMPP. So I'm going to go to the folder we are using. I've already created for this tutorial. I will head on to my htdocs folder, and the folder I've created for this is result checking. That's the folder. So now this is a template, a very lightweight template actually I downloaded for this particular course. So you can use this template with me if you like, and if you like also you can download the new template or just work with the Bootstrap framework alone. But I'm going to leave a link to this particular template in case you want to use it. I'll leave a link where you can download it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extract this particular zip folder here. or zip file rather. I'll extract it here. I'm going to right click and click on extract here. So I'm going to delete this particular file. I don't need it anymore. Then I have this web folder. I will go right in and open this. Then I'm going to copy everything here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to cut. Okay, then I will have to bring it back to this parent folder and paste every of the content here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is to get rid of this web folder. I don't need it any longer. So I will right click and click on delete. Yes, I want to delete it. Also, I don't need this licensed file here. Delete as well. So all I'll be needing is the CSS folder, and the CSS folder contains the style of CSS for this particular template, then the images as well. So we're just going to preview this to see how this part actually looks like in the browser. So to do that, I'm going to head on to my browser. I'm using Google Chrome. So I'll go to localhost / result checking, not result checker, result checking. Okay, so this is what I have. So it's just a lightweight template, like I told you, just having a heading here and some text below. Okay, so this is what we have. All right, now I'm going to go back to this folder again and create some necessary folders that we are going to work with in this particular tutorial. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to head back to my folder. Now I will create another folder for the admin section, which I'm going to be using later in the tutorial when developing the admin section of the course. So I will click on new folder and I'm going to write admin here. Then one thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to copy the CSS and the images folder. I'm going to copy them also and put in the admin folder, because we're going to be needing them in the admin folder as well. Okay, so now is there any other thing we have to do here? For now, I think no. So this is just the folder structure we're going to be using. Okay, now the rest of this particular parent folder here will contain all the files for the student section, while this will contain the admin, the files for the admin section. Okay, so in the next tutorial, I'm going to introduce you to the database. We're going to start creating our database schema, and then the next tutorial we start developing the application proper. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next tutorial. Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the tutorial. So in this particular section, we're going to start creating our database and our database tables for our course. Now, as you can see, I am on phpMyAdmin. This is a graphical user interface, phpMyAdmin. So to get to this place, all you have to do is to type localhost / phpMyAdmin. Okay, this works the same whether you're on MAMP or exam like myself, or if you're on WAMP. So this is all you have to do, just localhost phpMyAdmin and you should be there. Okay, and so the next thing I have to do here is to click on databases. Now I'm going to give my database a name. I'm going to give it result checking. Result checking. Okay, let's do that. Then I'm going to click on create. Result checking, not checker. Result checking, create. Alright, database created. So first of all, we're going to have some bunch of tables in this particular database. We're going to have the admin table, the classics table. We're going to have the generated pins table, the pins table, student, and the terminal report. So I'm going to start first of all with creating the student table. So I'm going to come here and give it the name of student. A number of columns, I'm going to write 8 here. I'm going to be needing 8 columns here. Then I'm going to click on go. Okay, so I'm going to click on go. Now the first element here, or the first data here, will be the student ID. So I'm going to give student ID I can spell student ID, and it's going to be a type of int, and index is primary key, and of course auto increment, very important, auto increment, so we don't have to insert data manually with the number. So whenever we insert a new data, it gets incremented automatically. Alright, so the next field here will be the name of the student, and this is going to be a type of varchar, and the length we're going to leave it at 60. Okay, the next will be sex, and it will be a type of varchar, and the length will be 10. The next one will be classes ID, type of int. Okay, the next one will be register number, so this will hold the registration number of the student, and it will be a type of varchar, and of course we give it 128. Then the next will be username of the student, username varchar, and the length is 40. Then we're going to have exam pin, so I'm going to give this exam_pin, so this will hold the exam pin of the student, and also it's going to be an int. Then the last one will be card serial number, so whenever a student uses a card for the first time, we're going to save this the particular card serial number for that particular student in the table. So I'm going to give this varchar and length of 255. Alright, so we are done with the student table, so I'm going to go ahead and click on save here. Okay, yeah, of course. Now if you come back to the structure, this is what we have: student ID, the name, the sex, classes ID, the registration number, username, exam pin, and of course the card serial number. Okay, so the next table we're going to create here will be the classics table. This will be the classics table, and I'll come back to the database, result checking database. We're going to create a new table here, and we're going to call it classes. Okay, and the number of columns we want here is just 3 columns, so let's make it 3 and hit go. Alright, so the first table we want here would be classes ID, type of int, index is primary. Okay, auto increment again, very important. The next one will be classics, and this will be varchar 60. The next will be classics numeric, so this particular table we're going to be storing the numeric value of the student classes numeric, and it's going to be an int as well. So this is fine. Click on save. Okay, now the next table we want to create here is the pins table. We're going to create a pins table. Okay, so we'll go back to the database again, and here we're going to create another table and call it pins, and the number of columns here should be 6. Then we click on go. So the first is ID, an ID int primary key. Okay, We'll go back. We're going to have pin code. We are going to store the code for each particular student. I'm going to give this a varchar and the length of 255. The next will be the expiration date of the pin. Remember we said the pin expires at the end of the term, so we are setting an expiration date for the pin. So I'm going to choose date, input type of date. Should find date somewhere. That's the date. Okay. So, and also we're going to have another table, okay, we're going to have another field for date issued. So this will be the date the pin was issued and the same date here. The next will be used by. Want to store the student that uses the pin. So any student that uses the pin will store it here. So 255 is nice here. The last is status. So status varchar, let's make it 20. So we're going to have a status of either open or close for a particular pin. So when a pin is used, the status will be closed, and when a pin is open, the status remains. When a pin is not used, the status will be open. So with this, I can go ahead and click on save again for this particular table. Alright, so the next table we're going to create here will be the terminal report table. So I'm going to type here terminal underscore report, and of course the number of columns for this will be 5. The number of columns is 5. I will click on go. Okay, so here we're going to have ID, and of course it will be int, auto increment, and primary key. Click on go there. The next will be class ID. Class ID int, that is fine. And we're going to have report card. Okay, that's report card, and that would be, let's just give it a type of test. Then we're going to have the name of the student. Student name here will be varchar, so I'm just going to leave it at 255 for now. The next will be exam year. And that will be a varchar. This we can leave for 60. Okay, so I'm going to add one more column. Okay, that should be here for the exam term. So I'm going to have exam term as well, and that will be another varchar, and also this can also be 60. So we have ID, classes, class ID, report card, student name, exam year, and exam term. So with this we are good to go. Click on save. So one more or two more tables you're going to create will be the generated pins. Okay, generated pins table. So the table we're going to be storing all the pins that are generated by admin. So we're going to come back here and type generated pins, and the number of columns here will be 5 again, and we click on go. So first of all, I'm going to have my ID, which is auto increment, and primary key. Okay, then the next will be pin. This will be pin itself. So here I'm going to give it a type of varchar and 255. Then the next one is the date generated. This is the date that the pin was actually generated, and that would be a date type. Then the expired date is another very important field we should have. So the date this pin expires, so we'll just give it a date as a type again. And the last one is status. So the status varchar, let's just make it 10. Then I'm going to click on save. Alright, the last table we're going to be creating here would be the admins table. Okay, that'll be the admins table. So I'm going to come back here and I'll click here and write admin, and here I can leave this as 3. I click on go. So first of all, an ID, admin should have an ID, auto increment again, and of course primary key. Then the username of the admin, that would be a type of varchar, and of course we can leave this as 30. And the last but not the least is password. Also this will be varchar, and we can leave this as 60. Okay, so with this, click on save, and of course we are good to go. So we have created all the databases we are going to be using, database and the tables we are going to be using for this particular course. We have the admin table, the classes table, the generated pins table, the pins table, the students table, and the terminal report table. Okay, so that is that for our database structuring and database files. So in the next tutorial we're going to start coding the course proper. We're going to start by developing the login system for the student section. Okay, so thank you very much, and of course I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, welcome back to the course. Now before we are going to, in fact in this tutorial we're going to be connecting to the database and also creating a database from pip file. But before we do that, there are some things we need to take care of which we didn't do in the previous tutorial. Now one of which is, remember we're going to be using Bootstrap for this particular course, so I actually did not include the Bootstrap files previously while we are setting up our folder structure. So first of all, what I'm going to do right now is to head on to Bootstrap website and download the Bootstrap file we are going to be working with. So to do that, I will open my browser and I'm going to go to get bootstrap, bootstrap.com. okay, that's the website, getbootstrap.com. okay, so I'm going to go to getbootstrap.com, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on download. Okay, mind you, this Bootstrap 4.4 current version, so I'm going to click on download, then I'll click on download again. Okay, and of course the file is downloading. So I think is completed. So I'm going to click this and I will click show in folder, and this is it here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to cut this file, then I'll go back to my C drive, back to XAMPP folder, htdocs, and of course our working folder, which is result checking. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to paste this here, then I'm going to right click and extract here. Okay, so delete this file. I don't need it anymore. Get rid of this file. Yes, delete. Then open this one. Now as you can see, we have CSS and JS folder here. So for the CSS, all I need here is just a bootstrap.main.css file. So I'm going to right click on this and I go and click on cut, then go back to my CSS folder, paste it here. Remember, we also have the CSS folder in the admin section, so come back here, CSS, and I think we need to copy that again from here. So copy this and admin CSS folder and paste. So we need to do the same thing for the JavaScript file in the bootstrap folder. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to copy this folder first of all, then I'll paste it here. Okay, then I'll open it and get rid of some of the things I don't need. I don't need this. I also do not need this. I don't need this as well. I don't need this. And what else? I just need the minified version of the bootstrap JS. Get rid of this as well, and get rid of this. So I'm going to come back, copy this, and also paste it inside the admin folder. Okay, so I can now delete the bootstrap folder. Okay, now the last file I need to get for our working folder is jQuery. You know, bootstrap depends on jQuery to work. Bootstrap cannot function without the jQuery library. So I'm going to go to jQuery.com, alright, jQuery.com, then I'm going to click on download. I'm going to click on download, and of course download the compressed production jQuery 3.4.1. so this is what I want. So I'm going to click on this, and this is going to load a page that contains all the jQuery code. Now what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to open the IDE I'm going to be using for this course. So I will be using PHP Storm for this course, and feel free to use any text editor you want, Sublime Text, Visual Studio Code, whatsoever that is you like, whatever is best for you to use as an editor or an IDE. You can go ahead and use it, but I'm going to be using PHP Storm for this course, and that's because of the numerous features that comes with PHP Storm. Now already I've opened the working folder in PHP Storm, and to do that is very simple. You just go to the file menu, you click on open, then you select the folder. From here, as you can see, I navigated to the XAMPP folder and htdocs. Okay, then our working folder is result checking. I clicked on it and I clicked on OK, so that will load it on this particular section here. Okay, so now what I want to do here, I want to open the JS folder. Okay, now in fact I'm going to right click on the JS folder to make a new file and call it jQuery.js. So I'm going to right click on JS, and I'm going to come to new. I'll come to JavaScript file, so I give it a name of jQuery. Okay, I'll click OK, and once I click OK, the file will be created for us. The jQuery file will be created, and the JavaScript file is created. That is good. And the next thing I want to do here is to head on back to our browser, and I'm going to Control A here to select everything I have here, and I'll C to copy, then head back to our text editor or IDE, and to V to paste all the contents there. Okay, so I'll give it some time to paste. Good. Now since this is pasted, we have jQuery to work with now. So I'm going to close this and head back to our working folder, and of course this jQuery sitting here. So I'm going to copy the jQuery file back, admin folder, JS, and paste as well. So our folder structure and all the necessary files we need to work with are now complete. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is head on back to our browser. Okay, now I'm going to go to the database because I want to add some content or some information to the database that will work with. So localhost phpMyAdmin again. Alright, localhost phpMyAdmin. Wait for it to load. Okay, so this is the database we created, result checking. I'm going to click on it, and I'll open the student, no, not the student, I will open the classes table. Okay, I want to add some text to it. Classes. So want to go to insert. Now under the classes ID, remember this is auto increment, so it's going to be auto incrementing. We don't have to add anything here. So I'll come to classes. And okay, so on classes I'm going to add so the first class I want to add here is year 7, and the class numeric, which is this, will be 7. Now move on to add another one, which is year 8. Class numeric is 8, and okay, so let's click on save first of all here. Okay, so if I go back here to browse, you see we've added 2. Okay, 2 classes added, year 7, year 8. So I'm going to go back to insert and add the remaining classes. So here will be year 9, and class numeric is 9, and here will be year 10, class numeric is 10. So insert, we come here, insert as a new row, and then insert another row. So let's do this very quickly. Good. So 2 rows inserted, and we want to complete it now. So we have year 11, and of course year 12, and that should be it. Okay, so back to browse. We have all the classes inserted now. We have year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to head on to the student section. We're going to head on to the student table. Okay, now I want to upload some database information to use on this particular student section, and also I'm going to leave the okay, no, I'm not going to leave that for you, so you can just grab some student information to work with. But later in the tutorial I'm going to create a registration form that new students can use to register into the system. So I'm going to go to export. I'll go to export, then I will come to import, not export, import, because we're importing values into the database table. So I'm going to come to choose file. I'm going to come to choose file. Then I'll head on to here. I have the files on my system. Okay, scroll down a bit, and this is it, dbexport.sql. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to click on go. I like to load and upload this information to the database. What is happening? What's going on? Oh, okay, students already exist. Okay, so for some reason that is okay. That means, but let's quickly get rid of this particular students table first of all, since it already exists. So I'm going to delete this table. I'm going to drop it for now, since the table I'm importing already contains the name of students. So let's quickly delete this, but don't worry, it's the same table values that will be importing. So back to import and select again, and scroll down to db. Good, select this, then scroll down to go. So let's see what happens now. Hopefully this should work. Okay, that's good, everything done successfully. So let's go back to what we have here, structure. Okay, student, good, click on it, and we have the ID, the name, the sex, the classes ID, and session ID. We don't need. We're going to be getting rid of some of the values here that we don't need. So I'm going to go back to structure, back to the structure. So I don't think we need the session ID. We don't need it. We don't need the session ID, and we don't need the user type. So I'm going to get rid of these two columns. Don't need them. So structure, what's going on? Structure. Okay, so I'm going to click on session ID. I'll also click on user type ID, and of course I should drop those two columns. Okay, good. So back to browse, and of course we are good to go. So we have the student ID, we have the name, we have the sex, we have the classes ID, the registration number, username, exam pin, and the card serial number. And I'm going to get rid of, okay, there's no need of that. No, let's get rid of it because I'm not going to be using this any longer. So get rid of this. Select, remove. Okay, and select, remove. Okay, alright, so I had to just pause the video there to get rid of every of this card serial number that already existing for these names. Now I think we're done with the database and every other thing that has to do with the folder structure. So very quickly I'm going to head back to my IDE here, PHP store. Then we're going to try to connect to database, and let's see how that goes. Now I'm going to quickly click on this. So I'm going to right click and create a new file, which is a PHP file, of course. I'm going to give it config. Okay, config. Alright, so alright, so we're going to connect to the database. The first thing we're going to create is a variable, and I'm going to call it localhost or db hosts. I'll call it db_hosts, and I'll give that localhost. We're using procedural here, procedural connection. Then the next is the database user. So db user is always root, so we'll give it the name root. And the next parameter is db password. We'll call it db pass, and that will be equals to this. So I'm using a password. So in your own case you might not be using a password, but I'm using a password. And the last is the database name. So db name, and remember we gave you the name of results checking. All right, so that's it. Now don't mind this stuff here, just PHP storm trying to tell me that there's a typographical error here. Now if to remove this, you can just right click. Alright, so like I said, what we're going to do here is right click here, then come to spelling and come to save, and that should do the magic. So I'm going to create another variable here called con, which is short for connection. So to connect procedural, my SQLi underscore connect, that's what we're going to write, and PHP Storm has a way of completing this for you. So the first thing we're going to enter here is DB hosts. Okay, that database hosts. Then the next will be DB user. Okay, followed by DB password, and lastly DB name. Okay, so we're going to check if this connection was successful. So we're going to write an if statement here that says if. Okay, come back here. Now if not, this is negative, which means if the connection was not successful, we want to throw an exception error. We want to say die. We want to kill the page. So the die function kills the page and prevents every other thing from loading on the page. So we're going to say die. We're going to write error connecting to database, and we're going to append my SQLi underscore error. Okay, the function that will tell us the type of error. What is this? The type of error that we are experiencing. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Do we have here expression result link? Okay. Sorry, I'm doing here. Okay. Alright, so I don't think this is an error. This is an error. So if it is, you're going to find that, because I believe what you have to supply here as an argument should be the database connection, which is this. So I'm going to go here and just write x. If the connection was successful, you're going to echo to the screen. I'm going to echo to the screen connection successful. Okay. Alright, so let's just run this. Now I'm going to go back to my browser, and of course I will open a new tab and go to localhost. Remember the URL or the name of the folder is result checking. So I'm going to look for the config file there, config.php, and let's try that. Okay, so we have unknown database result checkings. Result checking rather. So let's do this. Open. So as you can see, we have connection successful. Okay, so even if we remove this, we're still gonna connect successfully even if that is not there. So we refresh, we still have connection successful. And if you decide to maybe change the password, maybe remove the S there, you should get an error. Okay, access denied for user localhost blah blah using password. Yes. Okay, so let's really put this, and of course we should be good to go. So we have successfully established a reliable connection to our database. Okay, so I don't want this video to be too long. In the next video we're going to continue with the course, and of course we'll be looking at how we can set up the login form for the students section. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Alright guys, welcome back to the course. So in this particular tutorial we are going to be designing the student login page. Okay, so far let's look at what we have so far. So far this is what we have. Okay, this is the demo template and we're going to be customizing this to look like the original. Okay, the one in the demo that we showed earlier. Now, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this image here. I do not like it, but you can leave the image if it's okay for you. Okay, now to get rid of this image, I'm going to quickly inspect this. I'll inspect this to find where the image is lying. Okay, it's below the with the class of register-form. So I'll go to my code, and of course, this is it here. I'm going to click on this. So first of all, I am going to do some certain editing here. So I'm going to get rid of all of this. First of all, get rid of that. Now I'm going to change this title. I'll change the title to KOC Web Solutions Academy Results Checking Portal. Okay, and of course I will add this dictionary too. Now the next thing I want to do here, also I need to work on the keywords. As well. So I don't want this. It's better leave it empty. I don't have. Okay, let's write results checking application. That should be fine. So moving down, before we come to edit this section, I want to remove that particular image. And where is it? Okay, this is it. So I'm going to just get rid of this particular section here. I will uncomment it in case you guys want to work with it. I will uncomment it, then go back to our page, and of course refresh. Okay, you can see the image is gone, so we don't have it there any longer. It's gone. So the next thing we want to do now is to come back to this particular section here that says education appointment form. We're going to change this H1 rather to welcome to Academy Results Checking Portal. Now this will rename this one to say please log in with your portal username and reg number to continue. Okay, alright, so let's refresh this again. Basically that's what we have. Yep, okay, this is making sense. Now I don't need some of this form field here, like the title. I don't need it. I don't need the phone number. I don't need the course. I don't need the how would you like to contact us section. So I'm going to get rid of what I don't need here, starting with the title. So first of all, I'm going to select the title, which is this. So I'm going to get rid of that title section there, and of course I will the name I'll leave. Email I'll be using as page number. So phone number has to go, and this also has to go. Don't need it for now. Then how would you like to be contacted? Get rid of this one too, and select this to know where it ends. Highlight, delete, the span, and okay, we still have this here. Okay, get rid of this too. Okay. Alright, so let's see what we have so far. Refresh the page. That's what we have. So we have just name and email, and we need it to be username and reg number. So let's quickly do more editing there. So back to our code. First of all, here I'm going to change this to 2019, and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy that, then paste this. Designed by, put my link here. And site name should be here as well. Just copy this and paste it in. Okay, now on this section I'm going to write, instead of your name, so I'm going to add username here. So it's the username. So name equals username, and here I'm going to give the type of password, and name equals reg number. Okay, so here I'm going to write enter reg number. Okay, let's refresh this. Okay, alright, so I think we're good to go. Reg number, username. Alright, so is there any other thing we need to do here? Yes, there is. We're going to change this text. The text on the submit button, instead of request an appointment, will be submit, and of course continue. Okay, submit and continue. Okay, let's refresh the page and see what we have. Alright, good. Submit, and of course continue. Okay, so one last thing I want to do is to rename this file from html to a .php file, because we are working with PHP. So .php, we give it some time to refactor. Alright, and we should be good to go. Okay, now in the next tutorial, I'm going to stop this video here. So in the next video, we're going to continue with coding the functionality, the login functionality of this particular student index page. Alright, so stay with me in the tutorial, don't go anywhere, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, welcome back to the course. I believe this should be the 8th video in the series, and if you remember in the last tutorial, in the last video, we actually stopped at this particular screen here where we were designing the login form for the students. So and I need to mention something to you. Now if you remember, we are using our database system where we are using the MySQLi procedural connection. I need to mention that I could have decided to use a object-oriented or PDO. Okay, now I know PDO is the most secured way of connecting to databases, but also we are going to try as much as possible to see how we can secure this particular application too by using HTML special chars and MySQLi underscore real escape string. And so the reason why I'm actually doing this procedure is because of total beginners. Okay, I want everybody to follow in this tutorial, even total beginners in PHP. Okay, so with that said, we're going to go ahead in this particular tutorial and code the login, the logic for the login for the login system on the students portal. So very quickly, I will just bring this down a bit, and of course I'm going to come here and open the PHP tag, okay, that should be above. What's going on? Okay, that is above this particular. I'm just gonna take all of this away. Okay, alright, so I'm gonna come here and I'll open a PHP tag. Okay, let's go down a bit. Now first of all, I'm going to open the section start variable function. Then I'm going to be creating some empty variables here that I'm going to use in holding error messages. So the first one, I'm going to call it message1. I'm going to make it an empty string. So I'm going to create another one called message2, and of course it's also going to be an empty string. Another one, message3, will also be an empty string. Another one, message4, will be an empty string as well. So we're going to stop on message4, or in message4 rather. If we need to create more, we'll come back to that later in the series. So now I also will require, I'm going to require once the config file. Alright, so I'm going to require once the config.php file. Okay, so one other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to creating a function.php file here that will hold all our functions. PHP file, so I'm going to call it functions.php, not just functions. Okay, since it's going to take PHP by default. Okay, then I will come back here. Now also I'm going to require the function file. They will know that there's nothing there for now, but I'm just going to require it because I'll be adding some code inside it any moment. So that will be functions.php. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do, we're going to listen for, or should do check for form submit or submission. So we're going to write a code here that will check for when the form has been, when the submit button has been clicked by a user. Okay, now to do that, we're going to use the if statement, or the if statement. Now we're going to come here and write a function that is called isSet. And now what the PHP isSet function does is it checks when a particular variable or constant is available, or when a form, in this case the submit button on a form, is clicked. So we're going to checking if the form is set with the isSet. So if you check, come back to the form, you find that our submit or our post method here is our method here is post. Okay, so I could have used get, but remember get is not very secured, so I was using the method of post. And our action here, I'm going to leave it, we are submitting back to the index.php page for action. So come back here and I'm going to write if isSet, I'm going to use dollar underscore post, is a PHP global variable. So and we're going to come back here to the submit button, and we're going to look for the name. Okay, type submit. Okay, we're going to give this input, or the submit button or the submit input element, a name of submit. Okay, so this is what we are using to check when the form has been clicked. So submit here. So once the submit button has been clicked, we want to do something. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here, we want to get the username of the user. So we're going to say username equals MySQLi. First of all, I'm going to use the real escape string, and the real escape string, first of all, will take the connection. Remember, we'll link our config file. Okay, so it's going to take the connection string to the database. That's the first thing it's going to take. Then I'm going to add this with the HTML special charge. This actually prevents in SSL attacks, okay, and this prevents in SQL injection. Okay, so now this will take dollar underscore post, the name of the form tag, okay, and username, we give it the name of username, okay, and remember the reg number, we give it the name of reg number. So I'm going to come here and I'll write username. Okay, now this HTML special charge also takes in more parameters. Now the next parameter it takes after this is the end quote. It takes the end quote, and the last one is the encoding. Okay, the encoding system, and here we're going to use UTF-8. We're going to make sure that this encoding system matches with the encoding system you're using for your HTML element. Okay, if you check here, our chart set here is UTF-8, so you must make sure that this matches with whatsoever you are entering here. Very important. Now the next one, I'm going to copy this actually to minimize typing. I'm going to copy this line, and of course I'm going to come down here and paste it again, but this time around I'm checking for the registration number status. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to write reg number. Okay, then of course we have to make that change here as well, and I'm going to add the reg number also here. Okay, so now the next thing we want to check here is want to validate the form. So let's just put here form validation. Okay, so the first validation we want to check is if the form is empty, because this username or the reg number is empty, because obviously we don't want a user to submit an empty form to us. Okay, so when the user tries to submit the form and it's empty, we want to raise an exception. So I'll start with the if element, the if tag again. Okay, or the if block, code block, and here I'm going to say if empty. Empty is a PHP inbuilt function that checks if a form element, or if an element or a variable is empty. So if empty username, I want to do something here. Now I'm going to pick the first variable I created up there, which is message1, and of course I'm going to equal it here. I'm going to open a div tag entering HTML mode here. So I'm going to open and close my div. Okay, so already it's closed there. Good. So here I'm going to add a bootstrap class of alert, and another one I'm going to write alert dash danger. Okay. Excuse me. Now the next thing I'm going to do there, I'm also going to add let me add the error message I want to show first there. So I'm going to alert the username. Let's tell the username is required. Okay, very important. Now the next thing here I'm going to add is style. I'm going to add a style. Okay, I'm going to bring this down a bit. Okay, good. Now I'm going to add a style here, and first of all I'm going to give this a width of 351 pixels. Okay, then a height of 20 pixels. Okay, and a padding top of 0, and a margin top. I'll move this a bit. A margin top of 2 pixels. A margin top of 2 pixels. Okay, so I guess we have to bring this down a bit. Okay, let's see. Alright, so do this a bit from this section. Okay, just trying to make this look nicely. Okay, so we know this is the beginning and the end of the div. Okay, now that's for message 1. Now the next is for I'm going to check the reg number if it's empty or not. So with that I'm going to add an if block here. So if, and of course this also takes a code block. So if empty reg number. If empty reg number, we want to also do something here. Oh, I'm so sorry about. Alright guys, I'm really so sorry there. I had don't know why I'm having an issue with my PHP storm license evaluation there. So now before we actually check if the reg number is empty, I want to first of all check if the username that the user is giving to us actually exists. So we're going to be writing a function to check that. Get this away, and that function will be username check. Okay, so I'm going to write that function in a moment. So it will be username check. Let's call it username check. Okay, so we'll return back to this in a moment. Let's go to the functions of PHP now. So the name of the function, like I said, is going to be called username check, and I'm going to come here. Let's just write comment this section. Check if username exists for a user. Okay, alright, so I'm going to write a function, and the name of the function, like we said, is username check. And this is going to take about 2 parameters. We're going to take the connection to the database, and it's also going to take the username variable from the form the user is submitting to us. So first of all, we are going to write the query. Okay, so I'm going to comment here query or SQL query. SQL query. Now the SQL here will be select our username. Select username from, remember the name of our database is student. Okay, is student. So select username from student, where username is equals to the username that the user it will be giving us from the form, and that will be stored in a variable called username, remember. Okay, now before I proceed, I want to fix something here. As you can see, I'm having some issues here, and if I hover, I get an error message that says unable to resolve column. Now it doesn't mean that this column is not correct in the database, but because I haven't set what we call a database structure for this database source for PHP store, okay, to rightly identify with my database. So to do that, what I have to do is to click on database here, then I'm going to click on this plus icon here, and I'm going to go to database source. Then I will click on, I will select my database driver I'm using here. I'm using my SQL, my SQL, which is this one here. I'm going to click on my SQL. Then the next thing I'm going to do, okay, this obviously pops up after that selection. Then I'm going to enter my database information here. Of course, I'm having my user as root, my host is localhost. Okay, so I'm going to enter my database password, which with 6 letters, which we've seen from the config.php file, and the database we want to connect to. Remember, if I open back the config file, let's just really close here and come out to the config file. Database name is result checking. Okay, so let's come back here. Let's complete this database source, MySQL, and let's enter this again. Root, 6 letters, that's the password, and of course database is result checking. Okay guys, so we're going to click on text connection now. Okay, test connection, and of course this is successful. As you can see, we have this checked. So once this is done, all you need to do is to click on OK. So you click on OK and give this some time. I'm going to click here to hide this. Okay, then I'm going to close this console here and give this some time. Everything should come back to normal. As you can see, we are back to normal. Okay, so alright, now I'm going to quickly complete this particular query, then we'll continue in the next video because this video is getting a little bit long. Now I'm going to write the second query here. So the query, I'm going to create a variable called query, and this will be my SQLi underscore query. Then I'll put SQL there. Now I can decide to just write all the query. If I write this query inside this particular place, but I prefer having a variable to hold all my query while I just introduce it here. Okay, so alright, that is that. And remember, this takes 2 parameters actually. This takes the connection again, and of course the SQL itself. Okay, now we're going to check next, check if a user is retrieved or if a result is retrieved before we do the next thing. So, and to do that, we are going to write the if statement again. Okay, now we're going to use the MySQLi num rows function. So MySQLi underscore num rows. So this check if there was a row was retrieved for this particular query above. So if MySQL underscore num rows, and we're going to pass the variable which is query. So we're going to say is greater than 0. Okay, you can also say if it's equal to 1, is the same thing there. So if it's greater than 0, we want to do something. X here, I'm going to add an S block here. So S, I'm going to say return false. Okay, so while coming back here, once that happens, I'm going to create a result variable. Okay, and I'm going to equal it to my SQLi underscore fetch array query. Okay, I want to fetch the result. I want to fetch the query from the database. Okay, so alright, in fact guys, I'm going to stop this video here. Okay, then we'll continue in the next video. Right. Alright guys, welcome back to the course. So hopefully we are going to complete this student login page in this particular video. Now we've created the results variable. Now I have set it to my SQLi fetch array query. Now the next thing we're going to do here, we are going to create another variable called db username, and this will hold the username from the database. Okay, and we're going to give that to results. Okay, remember we are fetching an array, so an associative array, so the value we're going to give it username. Okay, alright, now the next thing we're going to do is to create another if block here, and this time around we're going to check if the username the user is giving to us from the form is equal to the one we are getting from the database. Okay, so if username is equals to db username, okay, alright, is equals to db username, we want to return true. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to return true. So x, I'm going to return false. false false. Okay, s, I'm going to return false. Okay, so I'm just going to add this to spelling, save this db username. Okay, so we are done with this. Right, so we are going to return back to the index page now, and here we're going to add this particular symbol here, which says that if not username, that is, if this particular function does not validate to be true, then we're going to throw an exception error. So if not username, remember we're going to take two parameters, the connection and of course the username. Okay, so here you're going to throw an error. I'm going to copy everything here. Just going to copy this message 1 here and paste. Okay, so still message 1, but this time around, instead of saying username is required, we're going to change the message to username does not exist. Okay, username does not exist. Alright, so now before I write any more validation check here, I want to quickly scroll down to our page. Okay, so we can start echoing some of these particular errors and check if our code is working or not before we continue very quickly. So I'm going to come down to this particular place, and underneath the span tag I'm going to open PHP. Okay, and here I'm going to echo message 1. Yeah, I'm going to echo message 1, and also you can echo just by doing this. Okay, so this does the same thing. Alright, okay, this does the same thing in the previous one. This is a shorthand method to echo in PHP. Okay, now we're going to go back to our page and refresh this page. Okay, and we're going to get rid of this connection success message that's coming out there from the config.php file. So come back here, and instead of echoing this, let's leave that empty for now. So come back and refresh the page. Okay, so here I'm going to just get rid of this, and let's try submitting the form without entering okay, let me see what's going on. Okay, we're going to remove the required. Let's remove the default HTML required. Okay, let's get rid of that, and let's try this again. Let's try this again. Refresh the page now. Okay, and we're going to try submitting. Okay, why am I not getting? I'm not getting any messages. Okay, let's go back to the form and see what's going on. Name equals username. Okay. Oh, we're echoing this here actually. So let's copy this and put it here instead. Okay, and of course, let's see. This is message 1. Yeah, definitely message 1. Okay, alright, let's try this again. Oh, it's actually working. Actually, didn't notice it, and it's showing here. It's showing there, which is not really supposed to show. So yeah, seeing it now, username is required, but for some reason the bootstrap classes we applied is not working. So what could be the problem? Okay, looks like we've not even linked our bootstrap classes here yet, right? Okay, so we're going to link our bootstrap classes because I can see they're not linked yet. So we're going to come here. Of course, I'm going to open the link. Rel href, I think we have it in CSS. So let's say CSS slash bootstrap. Yeah, bootstrap.me.css. So we're going to do the same thing for this JavaScript file, bootstrap and jQuery. So src, which is socks, so socks equals to js. What do we have there? JS folder, we have jQuery. So we are going to link jQuery first of all. Remember, if you are using bootstrap with jQuery, with bootstrap JavaScript, you must link jQuery first of all before you link the bootstrap.me.js. So I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it again, and of course this time around I'm going to be linking the bootstrap.me.js file. Then let's go back to the top, and right now let's refresh our page and see what is going on. Good, so we have the bootstrap class now working. So let's right click this a bit and see if we can, let's inspect this very quickly and see how we can adjust what we have here. So let's give this a padding. Okay, now padding top is 0. No, padding top and bottom, let's make it okay, 0. Okay, left and right, and user is now what I'm looking for. Okay, alert danger. Okay, so what if we take this particular height? Okay, so the height is the issue here. The height is the issue. So what if we give it height auto? Okay, I think that is making more sense. So give it height auto. That should be fine for now. Okay, so let's close this out and come back here. Sorry, we'll come back to our text editor or IDE, and we're going to give this a height of auto. Yep, then do the same thing here, height of auto. Okay, this is better. And then if you notice, whenever I try to submit the form again, whenever I refresh the page, the form tends to submit again, you see. So I'm going to try to fix this issue now. Okay, I'm going to try to fix this issue. So and to fix that, I'm going to add a JavaScript file at the footer. Okay, I'm going to add a JavaScript file at the footer to actually fix that. So I'm going to go to the body. I'll go to the body. So just around this particular location here. So I'm going to create a script tag here. Very quickly, I'm going to create a script tag. Okay, and here I'm going to write if. Okay, so if window dot history, if window dot history dot replace state. Okay, then here I'm gonna have window dot history, okay, dot replace state. Then give it first of all null, another null. Okay, then window dot href. Okay, window dot href. So we should be good to go. And I'm going to take this away. Good. Okay, so let's try this again. Come back here. Now this is going to submit obviously, but by the time I refresh again, you see it's no longer submitting any longer. Okay, that is taken care of. So very quickly we'll jump back to the code and let's continue with the form validation. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an else if block again. So else if now this time around we are checking for the reg number. So we're going to check for the reg number. So if the reg number is empty, so if empty reg number, we want to do something again. So I'm going to copy this and paste. Oh, sorry about that. And paste here. But this time around I'm changing this to message 2, and the message here will be registration number is required. So let us write that very quickly. Is required. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do here is to check for the input element here, which is this particular one. So see, we are requiring this. Okay, so if a user tries to submit the form without checking this particular section here, Okay, we want to throw an error as well. So let's come back to the form and see the name we gave that particular section. So we give it a name of checkbox. Okay, so that's the last, I believe. Now, so we're gonna add another else if here. Okay, so else if x if empty, another empty, and here we are using posts, but the name is checkbox. The name is checkbox. So if it's empty, then we're going to throw another message here. This time around, give this message 3, and we say accept academics terms and maybe conditions. Okay, all right. So now these are all the checks we are doing now. So if all of this check passes, then let's introduce our x statement here. So x, and the first thing we want to do here, we want to also check if the password, check for user password matching database password. So we want to check if the user password is matching database password here. So for that, we're going to create another SQL here, and this time around we're going to say select all from students, okay, where username is equals to the username. Okay, we're going to do that again here. Okay, username is equals to username, and of course the query here will be MySQL MySQL underscore query connection, and of course the SQL query itself. Okay, so we're going to write another query here. Now we're going to say if, okay, so if MySQL underscore numRows query, of course, is greater than 0. Okay, if it's greater than 0, then we want to do something here. So we want to open another result variable. Sorry about that. Put another result variable here again. So result will be equal to MySQL underscore fetch array query. Okay, now I want to check first of all for some variables here. The first one to check here is db reg number. Before we log a user in, we want to make sure that your reg number matches your reg number you're entering. Your reg number matches the one we have in the database. So db reg number should be equals to, we are fetching the reg number from the database, so we are putting that in a variable called db reg number. So that be equals to result. If you remember, the name of the column there was, we gave it is register number in the database. Okay, and to confirm that, I will just come to the database very quickly. So localhost php my admin. So let's quickly open the database so we can confirm that. So while that is loading, I will come back to my editor here. Then I'm going to also fetch the db username again. So db username will be equals to result username. Okay, result username. all right, so now let's head back to our browser and confirm the database columns that we gave. So let's open the student table. Now, as you can see, the column for the reg number we gave it register number. Okay, so I'll go back to my IDE. Now I'm fetching this and this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to compare another if block again. So I'm going to compare the reg number the user is giving to us from the input that is on the login form to the one we have in the database. Okay, I'll compare that for the username and also the reg number. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to compare for the username. So I'm going to say if db username equals the username the user is giving to us as coming from the input form. Okay, and db reg number equals to the reg number that is coming from the form. Okay, then we want to do something here. Okay, now x, I'm going to quickly add the s block here. So s, I'll copy this message again and I'm going to paste it here, and this will be message 4. So x, I want to tell the user to check their details. Okay, so here we want to say check your details, or say please check your details. Okay, please check your details. Now back to this particular place. So the next thing we're going to do here, if this actually works, we're going to generate a pin, okay, for the user or for the students. So this is a pin they will be using to check their result, part of the pin they will what they will require to check their results. So every user that signs in, anytime you sign in, you get a unique pin that is generated for you. Okay, anytime you log in. Now to generate this pin, we're going to create a variable that will hold the pin. So call it generated underscore pin, and that will be equals to, I'm going to use a rand function, PHP function, to generate a random pin from 1000 to 99,999. Okay, so you are generating a pin. Sometimes this will give you a 4-digit number, sometimes this will give you a 5-digit number, and there is no way it will be the same for any user. So with that done, we're going to write another SQL statement here. Okay, and this will be to update the student table with the value of the pin. If you check on the table of the student, we have a value created for exam pin. Alright, so we're going to be updating this particular column whenever a student logs in with their particular pin. Okay, so back to our IDE. So update student table. Okay, and I'm going to set exam pin to be equals to generated. Remember, we created a variable here called generated underscore pin. Okay, so if you don't put the where clause, then this will be the same thing for every user. So you have to put the where clause. So where username is equals to username variable. Okay, now with that done, very quickly let's write the query. So query equals my SQLi underscore query equals connection and SQL. Okay, now so we're going to say if query, we're going to check if the query was successful. So if the query was successful, so if query, okay, then we are going to open a section here. I'm going to create a section here, section a session is used to hold user information throughout the page, so you can monitor them throughout the page, know when they are logged in and when they are not. You can also do this with cookies if you're going to be using section for this particular course. So create the section here, and we're going to also copy our message again, copy this particular thing again, but this time around this will be message 4, which will be the login message. And this time around we are going to change few things here. So this is going to be alert dash success, okay, alert dash success, and the message we are going to bring in here will be login successful. Okay, I'm going to tell the user login successful, and we're going to introduce a span here, and in this span we're going to add some style here, and the first thing we're going to do here is to give it a color of hashtag 4b7f, and of course 80. Okay, alright, then I'm going to put a text here that says redirecting. Okay, good. And before we close this, we're going to add, let me just bring this down a bit. Okay, bring this down a bit. Okay, so at the middle here I'm going to add the meta. I'm going to use this to redirect with HTML. So meta http-equiv, give it the name refresh. Okay, and of course the content here, you add a number, and this will be a number of seconds, how many seconds you want the page to take before refreshing. So I'm going to give it 4 seconds, and we want to redirect the user to dashboard.php. okay, so now X, if the query wasn't successful, we are going to also take this message. Let's copy this again. Let's copy and paste that very quickly. Our time is fast spent. This video is getting a little bit long. I want to round it up. So this is the message 4, but this time around we're going to retain the alerts and alert danger, and here we're going to tell the user an error occurred, then tell them to try again. Please try again. Okay, all right, so let's test this very quickly. Okay, so let's test what we have. First of all, we need to echo the rest of these messages. Okay, message 2, message 3, and of course message 4. We need to echo them. Okay, now remember, message 2 is for the reg number, and message 3 is for the checkbox. So I'm going to copy this message 1, come here, put it under the span of the reg number, and I will do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing under, let's go back a bit, checkbox here, under the label of the checkbox. So we're going to paste this, and this of course message 3. Then message 4, we are going to have it just above the register form div. So this will be message 4. Okay, so let's very quickly refresh, go back to our page and see what we have. Let's refresh this first of all. So let's try logging in. Let's try to log in. So as you can see, we have an error here. Okay, so let's username, let's pretend the number above with the username. So let's try to log in with an empty reg number. Okay, first of all, we're going to do something here. We're going to have a placeholder, so which means we're going to be creating few more variables here. So let's add few more variables. The first one will be username. So first of all, make it empty here. The next one is reg number. We're also going to make it empty here as well. Okay, so then we're going to come down to here, and in this particular place you're going to add a value, and inside the value we're going to have PHP tag, and we're going to say echo username. So this way we will retain the username even when the form is submitted. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and do the same thing for the reg number. I'm going to get rid of this require. So put the reg number here. Okay, so let's come back here and refresh. So this time around, if I enter a username, okay, let's say I go back to my database to pick one username. So this person's username is Alfred, ALFRED. So I'm going to enter Alfred. Now once I submit it, even what's going on, why does it not exist? Okay, spelling username does not exist. Let's see why that is happening. Okay, Alfred username doesn't exist. Username does not. Okay, if not username check, let's come back to the function. Username from students. Okay. Okay, if username is equals to, okay, I'm having a space there. Okay, let's do the problem. Okay, let's try with this one and see. Let's try with this one. Okay, the same thing. Okay, I think we have to fix the bug in our code that's causing this. Okay, so but this video is already 32 minutes long. I'm going to just stop this video here, and hopefully we'll finish this code, checking out everything in the next video. Okay, so thank you guys for being in this course. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, so I'll see you again in the next video, and we're going to complete this together. Every necessary operation projects will be done. So let's start this video to meet in the next video. Alright guys, welcome back. So let's quickly wrap up this whole thing in this particular video. So first of all, we're going to figure out what is wrong with our form. Even when we are picking the right username, we are still getting an issue with username does not exist here. So let's quickly figure that out and solve it once and for all. Now we're going to head back to our code. So let's see what is going on here. Back to the username section. Okay, first we are checking if empty, this is okay, and oh, this is a mistake we made. Okay, now here we are still checking if empty not username the function. Okay, function check. So first I'm going to get rid of this very quickly, take away all of this here and remove one bracket there as well. Okay, so let's go back to our code and refresh and see. So if I enter Alfred, okay, let's see again. Okay, I guess this is working. So let's try this. Let's see. Small n, and we still get username does not exist. Okay, I think let's not try with capital N. Oh, now I need to point out something here, very important, very important. Now if you are checking with a single equal sign, now you check, you see that this double equals, actually what it means here is straight equal. Okay, now if you're making it double here, now what PHP is going to do is it's going to make sure that the string that the user is entering here, excuse me, matches with the exact string we have in the database record. If it doesn't match, then this is not going to work. This is going to throw an error. Okay, as you can see, if I use small n here, so I use small n here, let me go back to that, n a n, okay, n a n, yeah, it's going to throw an error, except I use capital N, then that will work. So we don't want that, because most at times users will not be entering their username in capital letter the way it is in the system, so they might tend to use a small letter. So the only place we will be doing the street checking is for reg number, because we want you to give us your reg number the same way it appears in the database. Okay, so we are going to go back to our function and let's make this 1. Okay, so with this done, whether a user is entering it in capital letter or in small letter, everything should work. As you can see, it's working. Small letter, capital letter is also working. Okay, so that is that. Now the next thing we're going to check is reg number validation. Now here I'm just going to enter any random reg number here that doesn't match with what we have in database, and of course I'm going to click this. So you see we get this one that says please double check your details, and if we go back to our code, that comes up when the reg number does not match with the username. Okay, and it doesn't match with username. Look at it here. If this is equals to this and this is equals to this, then we proceed. But if it doesn't, okay, we tell the user, please check your details, or let's make it please double check your details. Okay, that is better. Now if I enter the right username, and also PCR is 004, I think that should be the right username, 004, good, and I forget to do this, submit, I'll get accept academy's terms and conditions. All right, now if I decide to, okay, this is checked by default, so if I now enter everything, as you can see, my username information and reg number is being retained, okay, because we added the value. Okay, we added the value of the variable to the form. If you remember, we added it. Okay, so if I now submit, okay, I get please double check your details again, maybe this CIS 004. Oh, I'm using the wrong username. You can see this is this particular student's own reg number, and I'm using it for, I'm entering this person's own. That is not working, so I'm going to copy and paste this particular student's reg number, and this time around let's submit. As you can see, we get login successful, redirecting. Okay, so now we have object not found because we have not yet created the dashboard.php page. So for now, I'm just going to quickly create that particular page. Okay, I will come back here, I will right click, and I will come to new PHP file, and let's call this dashboard. Okay, let's call this dashboard first of all. Okay, now in this dashboard I am just going to end PHP here, then I'll create HTML very quickly here. Okay, then I will write here dashboard. For now I'm going to work on this later, so I'm just going to create a p tag here. Okay, and I'll say welcome user. So later on, okay, let's quickly add a section here. Let's open a section here. Okay, so here I'll be catching the section of the user. So I'll say welcome, add a PHP block here. Okay, so I'll say welcome echo let's catch the section we set from this particular place. Now we set a section here, okay, which is called username. So we're going to say welcome username. Okay, for now. Okay, so let's do that now. Very quickly I'm going to refresh this. Okay, then I'm going to enter Alfred PCIS 004. So as you can see, login successful, redirecting, and was undefined welcome undefined variable. Sorry about that, we should be catching with the section. So instead of echoing this here, because this variable does not exist in this section, so what exists is a section. Okay, so I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to do a check here. So I'm going to say if is set, we're going to take our time and do all of this very well. So if is set section, remember the name we gave it is username. Okay, so if you set section username, so here I'm going to, okay, let's start this here. If you set username, okay, first of all I'm going to say put a variable for username. So username here be equals to section username. Okay, so let's do that for now. So I'm going to come back here. Now we can now echo our username variable here. So hopefully this should work. Now if I refresh this page, I see welcome Alfred. Okay, so we're going to start developing the student dashboard properly in the next video, guys. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay. Guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the course, and of course in this particular video or section, we are going to be working with the student, working on the student's dashboard. Pardon me there. So I'm going to jump right back into, of course, my IDE here, PHP Storm. And remember, we stopped the index.php page. We're done with it, and of course we just developed a very funny dashboard section here. So we are going to be spending much time here, inputting this dashboard page all together. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Okay, or no, I'm going to leave this. I'm needing it. So the first thing I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to quickly take this off. Okay, then we go to the index page and copy some few files we're going to be needing. So first of all, the file I'm going to take in here, I'm going to copy everything from here to here. Okay, then I go to dashboard, and of course we need to be sure where we started copying from. Okay, from the meta. So I'm going to do this. Alright, there's no mistakes there. Okay, first we need to close the head. Bring this down a bit. Okay, and of course title, very important. So title is going to be let's put it here. I'm gonna call it right dashboard here. Okay, dashboard, so should be there. I have our bootstrap class linked, and the next thing I want to bring in here is the script.js file from the index page. I'm going to copy everything here, and also this as well. We need this too. So I'm going to come back here below here above the body, the closing body tag, and I'm going to paste it there. Okay, so we're good to go. Now I'm going to push this down a bit, push it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here right now is to come here and create a div with a class of container, and I'm going to create another div with a class of row. Okay, so another div with a class of row. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another div. I'm going to create, and now we have 8 columns. Okay, alright. Alright guys, so very quickly we are going to come here, and we're going to create okay, so we're going to create a p tag here, and we're going to call it welcome. Alright, welcome here. Okay, alright, welcome. Then of course I'm going to echo PHP here, and I'm going to be creating just a placeholder name here, which I know I've not created yet, but I'm going to create it later. So let us have that there. Then I'm going to have a heading tree element just right below the p tag. I'm going to have my heading tree. Sorry, excuse me. And the heading tree there, I'm going to have a bootstrap class. Of course, I want to have a bootstrap class of test center. And the next thing I'm going to have there, I'm going to give it the name. So please complete the form below to check your results. Please complete the form below to check your results. Okay, alright, good. So I'm going to come down here again, just right below the h3 again. Then I'm going to create another div. I'm creating that div with a class of jumbotron right below here. So I'm going to write div dot jumbotron and hit the tab key. So that should give me a div with a class of jumbotron very nicely. Okay, so underneath that, I'm going to create a form, and the action is going to be at the same page we are, which is dashboard.php, and the method we're going to give it post. All right, method of post. Then the first thing we're going to have here is a div with a class of form group. Okay, this is a bootstrap class, by the way. So I'm gonna have another. I have a label, and for we'll give it serial number. And I believe you know what the for attribute is used for. It matches with an ID in the input tag, so that when clicked on, automatically the particular field in the form gets selected by default. I'm going to say enter card serial number. This is where the user will enter the card serial number that we obtained from the school. Alright, so I'm going to have enter card serial number there, and below the label I'm going to have an input tag with a type of text. Okay, and I'm going to give an ID of serial number. The ID has to match with the for attribute in the label. So this is just for the purpose of user clicking on the name on the label to get into the form input. So the next I'm going to have is a name, and of course I'm going to give it the same serial number. The name will help us in getting the value the user entered with PHP. And I'm going to add a bootstrap class of form control. This is to enable the form to take a full width. So bootstrap class of form control. Okay, good. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this whole block of code here. I'm going to duplicate it to create another another input. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this, and the next thing I'm going to create here is pin. Remember, in the original design the user has to also enter the pin for us, so I'm going to have here enter generated pin, okay. Then I'm going to do some little changes here. So first of all, I'm going to give this pin, okay, ID of pin, the name of the pin, okay, and of course the for has to be pin. Okay, so and we're also making this a type of text. Okay, it's okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is to copy this again. I remember the still copied, so let's paste this or paste this again. So this time around, what we're going to have here for our label is examination year. Okay, the user has to select an examination year, and this is going to be select. I'm going to use the select card to do this. Okay, so the for, I'll give it exam year, and that should match with the same ID here of exam year. No, sorry, we are not using an input element. We're going to be using the select. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to write select. Good. I'm going to write select, and I'm going to give it the name of exam year. Then ID, I'm going to give it exam year, like I gave it here in the for attribute. Okay, so Alright, that is that. Now I'm going to click here and I'm going to bring this down a bit. Remember, the select tag takes in some bunch of options or option. Okay, so we're going to have option. Now the first one is going to have an empty value, and we're going to write here for the user to select here. Okay, we're going to set the user to select here. So the next one here, we're going to have another option. Let's just say option times 3. Okay, and this will give us 3 options there nicely. That is image plugin that comes preloaded with PHP Storm. Okay, so here I'm going to write the first year. I'm going to write here will be 2019. The 2019, the value. Remember, the value is what gets submitted to the database when the user selects that particular option. Okay, so the next one is going to be 2018 and followed by 2017, and we're going to end it another option. We're going to end it at 2016 very nicely. Then I'm going to come here and enter the value 2019 in text, 2018, sorry, and 2017 and 2016. Okay, that is done. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to just copy this guy here and paste it again, because we're going to be having also a similar thing for the exam term. Okay, so I'm going to paste this, and this time around I'm going to change this from here to exam term. Okay, so make some couple of changes here. I'm going to call this exam term, then I'm going to call this exam term again too. Okay, and of course exam term. Alright, exam term again there. Okay, so the option here, first of all, select term. The first option will be first term. Remember, that's what we had in the original design. First term, then we're going to have second term, and the last, of course, will be third term. I believe schools don't have fourth term, so we're going to get rid of 2016 here. We don't need it. So gone. Okay, now what else are we going to have here? So below the form, tag, we're going to have an input here with the type of submit. Okay, so enable the user submit the form after selecting the values, and we're going to have a value here that tells the user check result. Okay, check result, and the name of submit. This will help us to capture when the submit form has been clicked with PHP, and of course a class of btn and btn-info bootstrap class. Okay, now so let's quickly save this. Okay, and go back to our browser and refresh to see what we have going on so far. Let's quickly do that. Okay, so I'm going to click and I'm going to refresh the page. Oh, sorry, I'm still on this. I'm going to go to dashboard, PHP, dashboard.php, and of course this is what we have. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We have the class serial number, we have the enter-generated p, we have this examination here. Okay, good. We have examination term, and of course we have a button that says check result. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create I'm going to create another column. Okay, I'm going to come back to the code. I'm going to create another column. So we need to know where the column, the 8th row column ended. First of all, let's click here. See where this guy ended. We'll scroll down. Okay, good. It's ending here. So below here, I'm going to create another column. So div.co -md -2. Now, if you don't understand what is going on here, you can just go to w3schools.com and take the course on Bootstrap. Okay, just take the Bootstrap course. You should actually get you started with understanding how to work with Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a very easy to use framework, okay, that combines HTML, CSS, and JavaScript together, and helps us build complete web pages faster without having to write much of code, like when you're doing the job with the native or the general HTML. Okay, so Bootstrap is very easy to learn, and you can just get started by just going to w3schools.com and taking the course. You should be good to go. All right, so the first I'm going to have here, I'm going to write please note. Okay, then the next thing that will be following, we're going to have a UL open under the p-tag UL tag, and the UL tag is going to take a Bootstrap class again of list-group. Okay, the show is a list group. Now the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to add a style, just a CSS style, inline styling of padding. I'm going to do the padding of 20 pixels, top left, top right, bottom and left. So 20 pixels, and of course I want the font size to increase a little bit, and I'm going to be giving that 19 pixels very nicely. Okay, so that is that. Now the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to create an li, but I need about 3 li. I'm going to say li times 3. Sorry about that. So I'm going to have li times 3. Okay, the first thing I'm going to write here is I'm going to say you have to purchase. Okay, the first is you have to purchase. I can spell purchase. You have to purchase a scratch card, okay, from the school to check your result. Okay, to check your result. That's the first thing you're gonna have there, and I'm gonna correct this. Okay, I'm gonna correct that. Then there's gonna be a class here, obviously, a class of the Bootstrap class of list -group. Sorry, class of list -group -item. All right, list -group -item, and I'm gonna give another class of list -group -item -success. Okay, we have a green background there. Then the next one, I'm just going to copy this class because of time. So I'm using a similar class here, just change a few things. So I'm going to give this a list -group -item -info there. Okay, now the message here, I'm going to say you are, that capital U, you are welcome. You're welcome to use the card. Okay, to use the card as many times as possible. All right, you're welcome to use the card as many times as possible. Okay, so I should be good. And the next one here, I'm going to have a similar class again, but this time around I'm going to use the item that's danger here. Then here I'm going to have scratch card, just a bunch of information you're passing to the user. Scratch card expires at the end of the term. Okay, scratch card expires at the end of the term. Now underneath here we're going to create another UL to add some few links to the user. So you're going to give this a class of nav. Okay, and the next class again is nav dash pills, and nav dash start. Okay, nav dash pills and nav dash start. Alright, so here I'm going to come here and create 3 li. So li 3, good to go. And the first one I'm going to give it a class of active, which I'm going to be styling any moment. This class of active is going to be a link, a href here, a link. Okay, and this is going to go back to the dashboard of PHP. Very good. And of course we're going to have here dashboard. Okay, dashboard. Alright, now this one here I'm going to have an a tag here, and of course this will be going to logout.php, which we've not created yet. We're going to be creating in the series. So this will go to logout.php. Okay, and here I'm going to have logout here. Okay, good. And of course this link is going to be contact us. Right, now in the previous design, remember we're adding a link to WhatsApp here, our WhatsApp page. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very easy. So I'm going to write href again. Remember, href is an HTML attribute to direct the user to a particular page. Alright guys, so href actually directs the user to a particular page or link that he or she is supposed to arrive when clicked on a particular link. Okay, so href, first of all I'm going to write https. Okay, this is how you link the WhatsApp link your WhatsApp profile or page or number. Okay, so I'm going to write api dot whatsapp .com /send, and of course I'm going to have question mark as a placeholder. Phone equals to, put your phone number there, and my phone number is 70157776874. Okay, so as a matter of fact, you can use here for anything. Okay, it's not compulsory you put this here. You could just design a contact us page where the user will arrive when he or she clicks on the link. Okay, so I'm going to add the target equals underscore blank here, so the link opens on a new tab when the user clicks on it. Okay, so I think we're going to be rounding up here for the video. Now by the time we come back, okay guys, we're going to start developing, add a few CSS to make our page look nice, nicely, or look nicer. And then we're also going to be looking at how we can set up the PHP logic and every information that we need here for the user, the student, to see when they log in. So we're going to be handling the PHP aspect of this particular page, and also write few CSS by the time we come back. So let's really preview what we have done so far on the web page. So I'm going to refresh this, and of course what do we have here? Oh my god, no, this is not looking nicely. What happened? Did we make mistakes somewhere? Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go back to the code. Let's quickly go back to the code. Let's know what happened here. Alright, in fact, as a matter of fact, I'm going to fix all of this in the next video, okay? But this video is a little bit longer, or getting long right now, so I don't want that. And the next video, we're going to fix this, okay, guys? So I'll see you in the next video. Okay guys, welcome back to the course. How are you doing? So now in this particular video, we're going to continue from where we stopped in the previous video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open my browser here, then I'm going to go to the page that's localhost very quickly. Localhost / remember that was result checking. Okay, so I'm going to go there very quickly, and I'm going to log in here. So the student name we are using here was Obago, so I'm going to log in with Obago, and I'm going to enter his username very quickly. Okay, so now if you log in successfully, wait for a while to get redirected back to the dashboard. So this is where we are at the dashboard section of the students page. Now if you remember vividly, this was where we stopped in the previous video. So I'm going to go ahead here and fix this particular page. We're going to make it look like what we had in the complete application. I believe we saw that in the introductory video. So we're going to head back to the my editor first of all. Now if you to check this place, we are having this is actually very little here. So I'm going to go back to the editor and let's adjust that first of all. So let's find out where that particular code is lying. So this is what we have. Please note. Now the what we did here was we actually were using a 2-column grid there. So we're going to make it 4 first of all. So let's make it 4, and let's go back to our page and of course refresh to see what we have. What's going on? Let's refresh it again. Because this is 4, we have to do save all. I have to do a save all here, file, save all. So I'm going to come back here, and of course let's refresh this again. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so all right, now okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to head back to our editor, and of course let's look at some of the changes that we have to make here. Right, so the first change we're going to make here, we're going to add some CSS. Okay, we're going to add some CSS to this first of all. So I'm going to go back down. Okay, then I'm going to add CSS like I said. So back to the where is it? There is this div. Okay, where is it again? All right, here. Okay, so first I'm going to add a style. Okay, we have a style here already. Okay, I'm going to add a class to this particular p element here. I'm going to add a class, and of course I'm going to give the class name welcome. Okay, I'm going to give it welcome. Then I'm going to style it again. I'm going to style it in a jiffy. So okay, so and I want to give another screw up again and create another style, add another style to the div with the code -md of 8, which is the first one we created. So I'm going to come here also, and I'm going to add another class here of okay, let's try to call this welcome. Then the second one will be welcome to, but I want to do two different things here. Okay, so for the first class of welcome, we're going to quickly add some styling. But before we do that, I want to add some styles to the container div. I want to make the container to have a white background. Okay, so I'm going to add a few styling to the container div, and this is it here. So I'm going to go to the head section, and I'm going to open a style tag here. Okay, then first of all I want to target the container dot container. I want to give it a background. I'm going to give it a background color of let us go with white here. So with white, and I want to give it a border radius of 10 pixels. Okay, then I want to give it a margin bottom of around 90 pixels. Okay, alright, so let's refresh our page and see what we have. Let's refresh this. See what we have. Great, so this is what we have now. Okay, alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is let's add some styling to the welcome container. Okay, to the welcome container. First of all, let's add to the welcome to first of all. So welcome to, the welcome to, if you remember, is the container for okay, that is this. Okay, for the please note test that we actually entered. So I'm going to just add a few styling to that particular paragraph. So I'm going to do test transform to uppercase. Test transform maybe uppercase. Sorry about that. Uppercase. Okay. What's going on? Get rid of this very quickly here. Okay, uppercase. Then the next styling I'm going to add is color. I'm going to give it a color of 9A2448. Okay, now the next thing here is a font size, sizing of around 20 pixels should be fine. Okay, so let's go back here and refresh this very quickly, and yeah, this is what we have. Okay, then this particular text here that has welcome, let's scroll up a bit, let's style that text a bit as well, where we have welcome. Okay, so I'm going to style it now. So I'm going to go back to this place, and I'm going to add just above here, I'm going to add the welcome. I'm going to add it here, and I'm going to give it a text transform too. I'll give it a text transform. Sorry, text transform of uppercase also. Okay, then I'm going to give it a color. I'm going to give the same color that I gave the other one, that is in the 9A2448 color there. Then also font size of 20 pixels or thereabout. Okay, so let's quickly see what we have there. Okay, Alright. So let's quickly see what we have. Refresh our page here. Oh, yuck. No. I think there's a mix up somewhere. Okay, this welcome. Just a minute. Let's fix something here. Okay, this welcome actually shouldn't be for this. Let's not put it here. So let's put it here. Okay, let's put it. Sorry, I'm going to write the class there. The class. And I'm going to paste that very quickly here. Welcome. Okay, so let's refresh the page and see what's going on now. Okay, we have this looking like this one here. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to do? I think we're going to actually tweak we're going to tweak that particular second this thing a bit. The welcome to, we're going to tweak it a bit. We're going to change the color of this one, so let's say 337 AB7. Okay, then font size is 20 is fine. Then we're going to give this a font dash weight of bold. Okay, so let's see. We'll have refresh this again and see. Okay, yeah, this is better off now. Okay, it's better off. So I think we have to style this particular links here a bit to make it look like what we had in the original. So let's style those links. Okay, so scrolling down first of all, we're gonna add so let's scroll down. Okay, dashboard. Okay, all right. I don't know, for some reason the bootstrap class I'm applying here does not want to apply. That is the nav and nav pills and nav stacked class. So I really don't know what is causing this right now. I don't know. This is some kind of a bug. But we're not going to let this actually stop us or disturb us from achieving what we want to do. After all, it's just a navigation menu. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to try and move, let's say I move the bootstrap link a little bit above the top. Okay, let's say put it here, something. So I'm going to come back and refresh the page again. Let's see what we have. Okay, well, this is looking better, but still we still don't have this working. So I'm not going to really disturb myself much on that. Like I said, it's just a navigation after all. So I'm just going to scroll down again, and let's say I take away, since I'm not working, so I'm going to take away these two classes for now, and of course I will just work with the nav. So I'm going to come here and add a few CSS to the nav just to space things up a bit. So I'm going to say .nav. Alright, then I'm going to add a display block, since it's already displayed inline by default now. So let's make it a display block. Then we're going to add a padding around the four corners, 20 pixels. Then let's give it a font size of let's say 19 pixels. Okay, 19 pixels. Alright, then the nav li, that's the list items inside the nav here, nav class. So I'm going to say .nav li, and I'm going to give it just a padding here let's say padding top. Okay, padding top of 10 pixels. All right, so let's see how that looks like. Let's see how it looks like for now. Okay, so this is not looking bad. We can just manage this for the now. All right, now the next thing I'm going to add here, I'm just going to do something here. I want to add a few things to this particular heading here. So I'm going to add an extra class here called header. I'm going to add extra class called header here. So we're going to style the header class in a Jiffy. Okay, so what I'm going to do to this header, I'm going to just say dot header. Okay, dot header. I'm going to add a font weight of 700. Okay, then I'm just going to add the font size of around 19 pixels. Okay, so let's refresh, see. Alright, so this is looking better. Now the next thing I'm going to add here is just I'm going to add a background color to this background color. Then after that, I'm just going to add a footer information, and we should be done with this setting up this HTML form. Then in the next video we'll talk about the other functionality of the application. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down here and scroll down to where I have this. Okay, so I'm going to add an inline style here. I'm going to add a style, and I'm going to give it a color. Color should be C6 EEFC. Okay, then a background color should be 102, or sorry, 020, think 202, yeah. Okay, so let's see how that will look like. All right, good. So the next thing I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to quickly add a footer element, and we should be done. Okay, this video is already 17 minutes long, and I need to end it. So let's add a footer information quickly, then we end this particular video. All right, so I'm going to come to this section here. Okay, let's take this up a bit. I'm going to drop a comment there. So I'm going to call this copyright, okay, information. Then here I'm going to have a P with a class of panel footer. I pray this one applies. And another one, I'm going to give it a nav bar that's freeze button. Okay, then here I'm going to have ampersand copy. Okay, 2020. I'm going to have Web Solutions Academy. Okay, alright, you can write anything you want to write here, copyright information. Okay, so then I'm going to add I'm going to say design by design edit. Design by, I'm going to add an A tag here, and the href for now just put our website there. Just can link to your website. So let's go write web solutions academy there. Okay, and also I'm going to add one more attribute to this particular a tag. This targets, and of course underscore blank. Okay, so let's quickly refresh this and see what we have, if that actually applied correctly. Okay, well, I think this should be fine. It should be fine for now. It should be fine. Okay, so guys, we are done with the HTML form of the student dashboard. Okay, so in the next video we're going to start talking about the more functionalities of the application. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, welcome back to the course. Now in this particular video we're going to just restrict the users, okay, from accessing the admin dashboard, the student dashboard, when they are not logged into the application. Okay, so like if I am on this particular section, okay, which is the login page. Now if I try to access the dashboard, okay, if I try to access the dashboard without logging in, you see, so as you can see, a user can actually view this particular dashboard now without logging in. Okay, so we don't want that to happen. We want to stop that. All right, now you have to log in, like let's log in here, enter the reg number of the student. So let's log in. I think there's a mistake in this. Let's correct it. O-B-A-G-H-O. Okay. G-H-O. There we go. Okay, good. Successful login. Alright, here we are on the dashboard page. Okay, so what we want to do here is we don't want a user to be able to access this particular page if he or she is not logged in into the application. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to close this browser again so as to keep the section. Then I'm going to open it a second time. Okay, so if I try to log in again, let's say I come back here, it's back to the dashboard page. See, I'm still logged in, so we don't want this. Okay, we don't want this. Now to stop this from happening, we're going to use the section variable that we set in the index page. Remember, we set a section in the index page. This is a section function created there, and you're setting it here after the user has successfully logged into the application. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the dashboard very quickly. Now at the top here where we are checking if the session is set, so I'm going to remove this closing curly brace for this section conditional check here. So I'm going to remove it from here. Then I will take it all the way down at the bottom. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to open PHP here. Okay, PHP. Okay, so then here I'm going to bring that here. Okay, so I'm going to close it. As you can see, I'm closing this particular section here, this particular statement here. So which means that if a user is not logged in, we don't want, once this user this section username is not found, and remember this can only be set when the user clicks on the login or this the login button, that is this button here, the button on the home, on this index page. Okay, once the user clicks on this particular button, that is submit and continue, the session gets set. Okay, once that is not done, the session cannot be set. Okay, so back to our editor. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add an else statement here. Okay, I'm going to add an else statement. I'm going to say x x. Let's echo something here first of all to check. So echo you must log in to continue. Okay, so let's try this and see. All right, so first of all I'm going to go back here, refresh this page again. Okay, so then I'm going to try and, so as you can see I'm getting this that say you must log in to continue. Okay, because I didn't log in, I'm just trying to access this URL by default. Okay, so you must log in to continue. What we want to do here is we want to redirect the user back to the login page, okay, for them to log in before they can continue. So to do that, I'll come back here, then I'm going to take this away, take all this away first of all. Then I'm going to write the PHP tag in opposite way. Okay, and guys, the reason I'm doing this is so that I'll be able to enter HTML in between. Okay, so once you open PHP the other way around, that is opposite way, you should be able to enter HTML inside. Okay, so here I'm going to alright, so I'm going to come back here and I'll quickly just open HTML. So here I'm going to give this login tests as a title. Then I'll scroll up to the page, and I'm going to copy all the CSS information here. Okay, everything here, copying everything. Okay, and Control C. Let's come down, and of course I'm going to paste this just above the title tag. Okay, yeah, there we go. So inside this body, I'm going to create a div with a class of container. Okay, then I'm also going to create another div here with a class of jumbotron. So you can actually style this any way you want. Okay, then inside jumbotron I'm going to create an h1, and I'm going to give it text that says you must log in to access this page. Alright, then here we're going to have a class of alert, bootstrap class, and alert danger. Okay, then underneath here I will have a p tag that says you will be redirected to the login page in 4 seconds. I can spare seconds. Okay, you'll be redirected, see here, in 4 seconds. So now to make that redirection happen, you can either redirect with PHP, but that will not allow this message to display. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to redirect with HTML header meta header information. So I'm going to go to type meta here. Then I'm going to use the attribute that says http-equiv. I will need a refresh value there. Then I'm going to write another attribute, content. The first thing I write here is the time, the number of seconds I want it to stay before reloading the page, and that's going to be 4 to match with what we wrote in the p tag above. Then here the page we want to direct the user back to is the index.php page. Alright guys, so this should be ready to run. Okay, so we're going to test run this and see what we have. So first of all, we're going to come back here. I'm going to refresh the page. Then let's try accessing the dashboard without logging in. And of course, we must log in to access this page. Okay, will be directed in 4 seconds. And of course, here we are back to the dashboard and to the index page. Okay, so I want to actually add a class here of text center as well. Okay, another thing I want to do here, just to style it up a bit, I'm going to add a style. And I'm going to say font size. Let's make it 20 pixels. Okay, so let's try this again. Dashboard. Okay, you must log into access it. Sorry. We're supposed to add this here. Let me take this style. You must log in to access this page. Also, let's add the test center class to this as well. Okay, so hopefully this should give us what we want now. Back again to dashboard one more time. Yeah, this is looking better. Okay, you must log in to access this page. And if you not log in, let's see, one time we try to log in. OBAGHO, let's log in and see. By the time you log in, okay, by the time you're logged in, then you see we can view the dashboard, okay, without having to face that particular issue of redirecting back to the login page. So guys, this is it for this particular video. So in the next video, we're going to continue with adding some of the functionalities of the login of the dashboard. Okay, so thanks for watching, and guys, I will see you in the next video.